Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Good evening, Angela ma'am. Good evening, Aparna
Good evening,
ma'am.
Kiran. Good evening, Aparna. Hi. Hi. Good evening to all of you. Yeah.
Good evening.
I'm so sorry, madam. I'm so sorry, everybody. There was some technical glitch.
No issues, Rakesh.
Yeah. So, hello, everybody. Hi. Namaste, vanakkam, adab. Greetings to everybody, and welcome back again to the virtual platform of Rubaroo with another interesting session today. So before that, I just would like to quote a couple of words about the previous event, the Devil's Advocate. Seriously, Neeti and Agnes, what an energy, what an enthusiasm! It really boosted me so much. Like, it was 100%, and I really enjoyed the session a lot. And yeah, I've learned a lot. In fact, it is always good and appreciated taking and asking consent, and also making sure that people from LGBTQ are also normal people, and we have to treat them with respect and courtesy and everything. So yes, so after a hot debate session of the Devil's Advocate part, now we are here to speak OMG, relationships, toxicity. Yes. So we are here to speak about toxicity in relationships, and how's the event is going to look like. So it's a 1 hour webinar session where we have three eminent speakers or panelists speaking about the toxicity in relationships, addressing the different levels of age group people ranging from teens, youth to adults. So firstly, we have Aparna Ghose Adhikhari ma'am, who is a trainer, psychological counselor, and a person who is working for several other organizations in the society, having 20 years of experience in varied fields. And then we have Mrs. Angela David ma'am, who is a professor at Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, and who is also a psychological counselor at Sahayam Psychological Counseling Center. And finally, last but not least, we have Ms. Kiranmai Varigonda ma'am, who is a senior manager in Infosys and one of the directors of Kaam4U Foundation, which works towards women empowerment and also the child development initiative. So we are so excited and so pleased to have you all here. And so my dear viewers and participants of Rubaroo, so let's hear how the OMG toxicity in relationships looks like from their words. Over to Aparna ma'am. Thank you.
Should my video be on or can it be off? Can you hear me?
Yeah. We prefer it okay if you can switch on your video, but it's completely up to you. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. I have the share screen option, right? Can I check?
Yes, you do.
Yes, you have it.
Yeah. Yeah, is my screen visible? So good evening, everyone. As already introduced by Rakesh, Rakesh from Rubaroo, the topic today is toxicity in relationship. And the topic allotted to me, I'll start with called, my focus would be on teen relationship. So without delaying much, let me just go on as we have a time period. So let us see what this entails. My session basically will talk what is toxicity in relationship, what is teens, how do we identify the toxicity in a relationship, and the different types of behavior in the, amongst the toxic personalities, and lastly, how we can come out of how to deal with the toxicity in relationship. So, as I introduced, as we all know that teenagers are basically an age which there's a lot of exploration, there is a lot of curiosity, there is a change between. And so between the age, as we call teens, so the life from 13 or 12 to 13 up to 18 or 19, we call them as or the teenagers. And during this teenagers age, many of us have a special kind of inclination towards the opposite gender, or you feel like talking about relationships. There's a lot of aspects which we want to know. So many teenagers spend a lot of time thinking and talking about being in a relationship. And it's also seen as very normal that some children, some age in this age group, 12, 13, 14, or early teens don't show such interest in a romantic relationship or in a relationship with the other opposite gender until they are in their late teens or some 17, 18, 19. So it varies from person to person. Now, if we think that a person is in a relationship, that would mean both the partners they have committed that they are going to be in a kind of romantic relationship, or they committed that they are together with each other, then we see that there is they call themselves a partner, both the partners, a boy or a girl, is in a relationship. For example, let's say, now when we talk about a healthy relationship, we say that it is mainly involves mutual caring, respect, compassion, and interest in our partner's welfare and growth, and ability to share control and decision making, in short, a shared desire for each other's happiness. That means when both the partners, for example, a partner and the other partner, they are respecting each other. They have a mutual, regards for each other. They are interested in each other's growth and development, and no one wants to control or something. They have a care, and they respect each other's decision, and also a desire for each other's happiness. But when we talk about toxicity in our relationships, it basically is characterized by behaviors that on the part of the one partner that is very emotionally and physically very draining, and it's damaging to the relationship. For example, there may be less respect, there may be a lot of controlling, there may be a lot of taunting, there may be always a kind of insecurity, fear, and a person, one of the partners may feel they're walking on the eggshells of the path. So this is very threatening sometimes, and they feel insecure. The other aspect, again, in a healthy relation contributes to the self-esteem and emotional energy. While a toxic relationship, on the other hand, is not a safe place. It is where the toxic person may be very self-centered, very dominant, controlling, and there's a lot of disrespect and lack of cohesiveness. Now, when we talk about this in a relationship, my next question if the two people are in a relationship, they can reflect on this. Like, if one partner is all the time feeling that choked in the relationship, they're fighting a lot nowadays. The partner's presence has stopped being comfortable, and the partner dread meetings and time with a significant soulmate. No longer is very exciting to meet your partner. You dread those meetings, and you think, oh my, it's like a burden in the head that, oh my God, I have to meet my partner again. And you think all the negative thoughts. You're not excited about your relationship. If the answer to all these questions are yes, it signifies that one is in a toxic relationship, and they might need to reflect on it. Now, There is another aspect of it. When a person is in a toxic relationship or one partner is very toxic, there are 6 types of toxic people who we can see where their personality shows that. If we can see in the picture, one is like the energy drainer, as the name connects. Second is the fake complimenter. Third is the pessimist. Fourth is the criticizer. Fifth is the manipulator. And last is the victim. Now, if I go the criticizer, the one of the partner, if he or she is toxic, the toxic partners always wants to be dominant. And if the other partner wants to do something or contribute, always is criticizing, demeaning, belittling, and always the power of decision is always in trying to be in control. And as a result, when the partner is trying to always control the other partner, the self-esteem may be very low. For example, Rajesh is a 17-year-old boy, and or Rakesh is a 18 or 19-year-old boy, and Ridhima is just a college-going girl from around, just has entered the college around 16 and a half, 17 years, 16, 17. Now, this is the first time where she has got into a relationship, and over this around a year, they have comfort feeling, and they have started being into a relationship. After around 7 to 8 months, Ridhima has suddenly realized that all the time Rakesh is always criticizing her, whatever she does. If she's making small decisions like today, deciding like where to go for eating, or which movie to go, or which how to go, your outing, or anything like that, this Ridhima gets very criticized all the time, and Rakesh is very controlling. He never considers Ridhima's decision as anything to be very significant. This kind of partner could be, we could call it as criticizer, always belittling, like kind of, that's a personality. Second, we can talk about the bad temper or the toxic partner. Since I've taken the example of Rakesh and Ridhima, I'll take to this, and Rakesh being a 19-year or 18-year-old guy, and Ridhima being 16 and a half, 17-year-old girl, teenager. Now, the other second thing is, if we talk about Rakesh, if the second type of relationship is very energy drainer. For example, all the time, very short tempered. All the bike they are going out somewhere to a long drive. The bike has broken down. Rakesh doesn't even think, oh my God, Ridhima, it's your fault. Wherever I go with you all the time, these kind of things happen, and the bike is not working now, and it's all the time your fault. And he will start with this and blaming and blaming and blaming, and then it'll end up to a bad temper, and it's very energy draining. The third type is guilt inducer. Guilt inducer is a person who not only controls by inducing guilt, but also temporarily removing the guilt by always putting it to the other person's responsibility. For example, we'll take case of Rakesh and Ridhima. Rakesh, a teenage guy, Ridhima, a teenage girl. Rakesh, for example, Rakesh had a bad academic career. For example, he was in the second year, he did not score marks, and he was on the verge of really failing or not scoring good marks. So immediately, he will not retrospect on himself. What he will do, he will try to always just immediately put all the blame and thing on Ridhima. See, Rakesh would say, Ridhima, because of you, I have not performed well. You don't guide me. You are such a, all the time, you are so much attention kind of me, and I can't study because you put so much stress on me. I could not perform because of so this. So this is a kind of guilt inducing technique they would do. And sometimes, and continuously, when Rakesh continuously puts on and on and on and on about the guilt inducing on Ridhima, over a period of time, Ridhima feels that I am only to blame. That's why really Rakesh has performed less because of me only. Correct? He's saying, and she tries to believe. She believes that yes, because of her, Rakesh has performed less, and then she feels very guilty, and then again it gets into a manipulative things. The next one is a deflector, overreactor, the victim. In the relationship, sometimes one of the partner may always play a victim card. Victim, always the victim. If we can just reverse all the time. I'm talking about Rakesh and Ridhima. This time, I'll talk about Ridhima and Rakesh. Now, Ridhima is for example, is a 17-year-old girl, as we say. She's all the time. If Rakesh has said that, that I'm not feeling well, or today you don't do enough for me, I have to come and wait for you for hours, and all the time I have to call you, you don't call me, I'm giving much more to your relationship. See, today I was so tired, and you know what, this happened to me because of this, I'm really upset, and you never take out time for me this over the last period of days or last 6 months. Yeah, can you please tell me how much time you gave me? You're always busy with your friends, your parents, your other things, but me, you are not at all concerned. At that time, Ridhima does not accept this, and she will try to be a victim and always say, Rakesh, I don't think. She will play on her cards and say, no, it is you don't have don't have time for me. You are I have not done anything. It is because of you I gave time, but you never come on time, you never give me time, you are always temperamental, so I react because of your behavior. So she will all the time not accept that these are the certain things which are happening, but on the whole she will play a victim card and always get away and try to put on that as if the other partner is at fault, and it is not her fault. So this kind of things, their personality, they sometimes over the relationship, it keeps going on and on. Next is the over-dependent or the manipulator. This is many a times a partner can be very over-dependent. Now again we come back to Rakesh and Ridhima. Rakesh is a person, has a very strong personality, or probably we can say that Rakesh has a personality which is as if shows that he is not very, he's strong, but he always is very dependent, always want to be taken care of, never takes any of his decisions, and always asks Ridhima to do everything. So, for example, he'll say, if Ridhima asks, where do you want to go? So Ridhima will say, you tell me. Ridhima will ask Rakesh, where do you want to go? So Rakesh might say, let's go. Rakesh say, you decide where we will go. So Ridhima might choose, come, let's go to something in some hotel somewhere in Gachibowli, or she decides. So at that time, Rakesh might not say anything. Once they go there, and that time his some things don't turn up well, or in that event in the hotel or restaurant when they're eating, things might not turn up well. Immediately, what Rakesh will do is, he will try to make things as of nothing. Whatever, though he did not participate in the discussion or to make a decision, but whatever, if things don't go correct, he will automatically put all the blame on Ridhima, as if because Ridhima did not plan well, all the time, everything is Ridhima's fault. So this is over dependent, and sometimes they don't want to take any decisions. Everything they live on Rakesh like people, they will live on Ridhima only. And then when it comes to blaming, they will do the blaming. They don't want to take responsibility for any of the actions. Next is user pessimist. With a user in one way, naturally the fact that you will end up never having done enough for them. Now, these kind of personalities, they are all the time thinking that how much you do for them, they are never satisfied. You may, from morning till night, till day after day, you keep on doing, listening to them, pleasing them, how much time you spend with them, do whatever they like, the dress up, the way they dress, the way you behave. You lose all your contacts. If the person doesn't like you to talk to someone, you stop doing that. Doesn't like you to dress in a particular way, you stop doing that. He likes you to behave in a certain way, talk in a certain way, only be friends with him, and whatever the way, and always talk to him, always care for him or that particular partner. Then what happens is, how the more and more you do, but that partner is never satisfied for him. Or the thing is, toxicity is, he is never satisfied with that, is never enough for him. The last one is the possessive or the toxic controller. Now, this is, we call it paranoia. For example, in every relationship, a lot of young people say, for example, Rakesh loves Ridhima. Now, when Rakesh loves Ridhima, he cares for her, and he comes, picks her up, drops her. And whenever he is a little bit of possessive or a little bit of caring for her, that's okay. But sometimes what happens is, Rakesh is all not giving a little bit of freedom also for Ridhima to meet her friends, to go out with other people, to talk to any people, and anything and every time suspicious. If she is even gone out with her parents to some grandmother's place, to a social event, or through a party, or wherever she's gone, the Rakesh would feel very upset, and they would try to control. And then again, what Ridhima has to do, she has to all the time give explanations, all the time have to give sorry, and all the time explain. But still Rakesh would never be satisfied. His suspiciousness and controlling goes on, and at a time comes when it becomes very difficult for Ridhima to bear with it. It becomes like a control freak, and it's a little paranoid in the behavior. So we see criticizer, we see bad-tempered, we'll see the guilt inducer, we see the victim playing card, overly dependent, always using, never satisfied. Whatever you do for that person, always wants more and more. Or the other end, all very, very overly possessive, which is we call it, which can be taken as in the form of a paranoia, which can get into paranoid relationship. Now, summarizing all this, we come to the signs of toxicity. Teens' partnership is possessive or overly jealous. Teens start changing their habits. They have unexplained injuries. Teen's significant other does not respect their goals. Teen constantly is checking in, apologizes frequently. Definitely there's a drop in academic performance. And the relationship becomes serious too fast. For example, they have just known each other for a very short time, and then they are very serious into a relationship. And it's very obvious that it's like a lot of, so that is one of the warning signs. Now, overly possessive, overly jealous, it means that they would not respect the partner to talk to anyone, to have relationships, or slowly, the person. For example, if you take relationship between some other names, you take Rakesh and Ridhima is too much. We'll take Rahul and Riya. If we take Rahul and Riya, Rahul is again a 19-year-old guy, and Riya is around 17-year-old girl. Rahul is very possessive and very jealous. Riya suddenly realizes that she doesn't have any relationship with her friends anymore. She barely has gone out with her friends for a long time, not talking much to anyone, even only with her parents. And her most of her time are only with Rahul, and any other interaction with other friends are overly questioned. She has to give explanation all the time. These are the things. Suddenly their habits changes. For example, they become loners. They are very distressed, anger. They have a lot of anger, they have a lot of fear, anxiety. All these things are suddenly seen in their behavior. There are changes in habits. Suddenly, if Ria was very bubbly, she suddenly becomes very loner. She likes to live in a room, most of the time spending her time in the mobile and all the time in the room and not interacting as before. Unexplained injuries. Probably in Ria's hands, if there were marks, cuts, which she could not say, like she did not fall down or she's not able to explain, she's hiding something. So these can be, that means these are signs that probably there is physical abuse also in the relationship, where the person has beaten her or tried to harm her, like that. Another thing could be there is respect. The partner, if Ria wants to become a fashion designer, Rahul would right away just pull her down and say, it's okay, just finish up your main studies and then we'll see what we have to do. We can discuss this later on. Fashion designer, what will you do? It's of no goal, nothing, it's of no use. What you will do, it will not add to our goal relationship. First, you support me in what I have to do. I will become an engineer and I will go to and do an MBA, and then we'll have a good career and we'll have a good life, because if I earn money, then we'll have a better life. You support me in all these things. Your designing will not bring in much to our things. So all these things always demeaning, not encouraging her to pursue the goals. Apologizes frequently. If the person is very controlling, then sometimes you will see that she gets into all the time. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
all
hear
the
you,
time.
Yeah.
The last slide I will finish. Yeah, so all the time they are apologizing for no reason. Yeah, Ria is all the time apologizing that I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, and only the one partner is only apologizing. There is no effect, or there is no kind of response from the other side, as if in the relationship all the faults lies with the Ria only. If she is Ria and Rahul are in the relationship, all the time she's apologizing, she's on the tender hooks, and she is made to feel guilty all the time. Obviously there's a drop in your academic performance or whatever your goals, whatever you are pursuing, and the relationship becomes, of course, too fast. So these are certain things, and there's definitely a change all the time. There are crying spills which are there. There is no interest in any kind of social get-togethers, or there is no interest in television, or they wanted to, or any hobby. The eating has decreased. There is all the time a kind of a aloofness, which if being seen in the behavior. These are certain relationships, signs which we need to see if to see whether there is a toxicity in the relationship. Now, how to deal with it? First, we have to identify the toxicity. So calmly but firmly, we have to confront the toxic behavior. Identifying the behavior, we have to talk to the partner, letting him or her know that these are not acceptable. Not getting angry, not getting upset, just trying to explain that these are we talked about those controlling, or those manipulative, or those playing the victim card, or always over possessiveness. Whatever is the toxic behavior, confronting and talking to the partner that this behavior is causing a lot of issues in our relationship, and it will cause, it is not acceptable. The other person will probably try to tell you that you are the cause of all these bad feelings, but still trying to explain that this is not acceptable anymore, because this is causing a kind of strain in our relationship, and it's causing a lot of stress on me. Or Ria should talk to Rahul in the manner. Then one very important thing is be firm, and it's important to know that there is zero tolerance policy for physical abuse. Verbal abuse or physical abuse, if a person Rahul has starting hitting Ria because not able to have a control, it is not acceptable at all. So Ria should upfrontly and very calmly say that beating or physical abuse is not acceptable at all, and set boundaries. So when they are trying to talk, and if these are not acceptable, she has to start setting some boundaries. She need not be too nice. She has to accept that this is in a difficult, the relationship is in a difficult situation, and she has to deal with this difficult relationship. So first she has to accept that this relationship is getting toxic, calmly try to set boundaries and see these certain behaviors are not acceptable, be very rational, and still if there is no change in Rahul's behavior, it is she has to accept it and start looking at how to improve the situation and how to get back into a normal health or relationship. And she has to also understand, or the partner has to also understand, that it is not her or his job to save them. Know that when it's done, if she feels or he feels that the relationship is done, no more they can take it. I mean, a thing comes that it's not changing, done, it's done. It's important to understand that healthy communication, mutual respect, trust, and kindness are just a few things that should be at the center of a healthy relationship. And if the partner refuses to change, consider separating from the relationship for some time. And still, if things are not better, it's better, and you're not able to deal with the emotional turmoil, it's better to take some professional help and to deal with it, because it causes a long-term issues emotionally and physically and mentally, psychologically. It can cause a lot of harm. So sometimes when you're not able to deal, you do that. Some people may cut out their hands also because they're not able to deal. They feel so guilty, it's my fault, and they try to self-harm. So when all these things are we have to be very, very careful, and we need to, it is time that we need to take some help, and we can come out of our toxicity in the relationship. Now, the toxicity in the relationship also, if there is too much of toxicity, so it definitely will create gender-based violence, because when there is not a healthy relationship, it will lead to a lot of fights, verbal abuse, it will lead to emotional abuse. It might also lead, if they are into a sexual relationship, it might also lead to sexual relationship, and of course financial abuse. So when all these things starts, if you're not firm or you don't identify all these things, later on the damage will be quite a bit. So if once you realize that these are the symptoms, or these are things which are happening, you start reflecting, and if you feel that you're not able to deal with it, very important we take some help, talk to our friends, talk to our concerned person, or a concerned adult, or a concerned friend who can help us, and or get some professional help, like there are so many counselors available, or so that we can be emotionally healthy and come out of this toxicity in the relationship. And as we are all as we address the teens are a very or very, very important milestone, when a lot of things are changing in their mind, a lot of things are forming. So if they have a bad experience which it's not dealt in a proper healthy way, it might have a long scar in their long-term life, and then it may affect their adulthood relationships further. So with this, I just close my thing with, it is very important that we have a safety net, set a goal. Though in every relationship, we should be independent and we should be dependent. So we should have a safety net. We should have our relationship, and also not stop relationship with other people, whoever. We should be having talking. We should stop if it's very if we feel very kind of binding. We should stop talking to the partner. Do things which calms us down, or it's kind of relaxing for us. So to come out slowly, we have to divert our mind and take some help, so that we can come out of the toxicity in the relationship in a healthy way. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aparna ma'am. It was all the characters are, lot of our participants and lot of our viewers also could apply for them, apply for their life, and could understand all these things in a better way, I hope. Thank you so much. And yeah, so I now welcome Angela David ma'am to just take it over. And before we start, as the time is constrained, we have extended the time to 6:25. So I request the panelists to just make sure even the time is also.
Yeah, thank you, Rakesh. And how much time do I have? 10 minutes or 15 minutes?
We have extended it to 6:25, ma'am. Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
before.
So I don't have much time. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, Aparna has gone into details and she is focused on the teens, right? And all the symptoms and everything she has spoken. So my job is to talk about the age group of 20 to 30, right? Where the teenager is more or less settling down in academics, settling down in career, settling down in getting into a steady relationship. So certain amount of stability has already come in. So what could be the kind of problems a youth can face? See, toxicity in a relationship can take many forms, right? Including forms of abuse. Huh? There are different forms of abuse. A partner can never change. Like abuse comes in many shapes and sizes. This can be hard to recognize, especially if you have been in a long-term toxic relationship. See, if they have started dating, right? Dating from the teenage, and it has been over a 5 years or 6 years relationship, it becomes a little, they become comfortable with one another. So once they become comfortable with one another, it is not easy to detect that there is a problem, right? Because over the period of time for the last 9 years that I've been working, especially specifically with the youngsters in the university, I find there have been long-term relationships, right, which has caused problem. Now we are talking about toxicity in a relationship in the context of gender-based violence. So I not only presume, but I'm sure that most of the victims, what we are talking about is here women, right? Women, young women. There are also men who could be victims, but when we are talking in context of gender-based violence, it is the young women who are affected the most, because I'm focusing on the target group of 20 to 30. So how can we identify, right? Especially when you have been in a relationship for a longer duration, because you have become comfortable with one another's habits, you have been comfortable with one another's personalities, you have become comfortable and friendly. So when you start feeling insecure, when you start feeling insecure, so that introduction to one another, it is not easy to detect, right? But I would like to focus more from the psychological point of view, especially for the age group of 20 to 30. Some of the things that can be easily noticed is the diminished self-worth. That is a diminished self-esteem. You will find this person, this girl who's been bubbly, full of life, having goals, everything, and suddenly she's feeling that she's not worth. Suddenly she's feeling that she's losing out on many things. Okay, suddenly she's feeling insecure. Suddenly she starts feeling incompetent. This girl who's supposed to be a topper, this girl who's supposed to have studied so well all along, suddenly we can see the change. So diminished self-esteem, diminished self-worth is a very, very important sign that one should be aware of. If you start feeling that my self-esteem has gone down, I am not worth, I am not able to do well, I am not feeling confident about my subject, I'm not feeling confident about my exam, I'm not feeling confident in so many things earlier which I was confident, it is the number one sign that you are in a toxic relationship. Number two, there could be chronic stress and anxiety. This person who's supposed to be nice and happy and joyful, easygoing, happy-go-lucky, suddenly is coming under tremendous stress, getting anxious, doesn't want to talk to anybody, right? And doesn't know what to do. Sometimes she can even develop with anxiety and fear of the future, whether there's a relationship, to what level this will take on to, right? Whether she will get married and settle down, whether she'll be able to deal with the other issues that comes along with marriage. All this can cause her tremendous anxiety and fear, because it was not there before. Before she was very happy, very confident, but now she's starting feeling anxious. She's starting feeling stressed. And sometimes she can also develop NSSI syndrome, which is non-suicidal self-injury syndrome, which means sometimes you can find them cutting their hands, harming themselves with knives or with forks, or deliberately trying to, cover it and bandage it. And and to say it has just happened, like, because they're not able to cope with these kind of emotions or feeling that is going on in their relationships. They are maybe unable to confront. They're not able to dialogue. They're not able to resolve certain issues. So these also can cause anxiety and stress. Another important, the third most important, what I observe is, in a toxic relationship, mostly I feel the girls, they get cut away from friends. They used to have so many friends, friends in the college, friends in the school, friends in the neighborhood, friends to wherever they have gone, maybe to to the sports where they used to play. They had so many friends once upon a time. Now they have become all by themselves. This is again a very, very serious sign. And slowly they are also drifting apart in the family, because earlier they were all very happy to be the family, going out with the family. Together they are going out for a movie or going out for dinner, and very sociable and happy and nice. And she used to have regular friends coming in, and friends chatting, friends playing with, friends just chilling out. All this was there. Suddenly now this girl finds that she has no friends. All her friends have moved on. And she's also drifting apart in the family. Once upon a time, close knit family. Now she's seeing that there is a gap. Sure sign there is a toxic, this is a toxic relationship, because the person who she's associated with in the relationship is slowly trying to control. It's all about power and control. Okay, so he is dictating or telling her whom to visit, whom not to visit, whom to get close to, whom not to get close to, on account of which this person, this girl becomes a victim, this young woman becomes a victim, and she is starting drifting apart. Very important signal. Another important signal is also, financial restrictions, right? Suddenly you'll find this girl, even though she's earning so much, all her finances are handled by her boyfriend or the partner, whatever you call it, right? Because now they are in a mature age, they are between 20 and 30. So the family interference may not be so much, right? So there could be possibility. Debit cards can be with the person, credit card can be with that person, Google Pay account can be with that person, passwords can be with that person, email IDs can be with that person. So like that, all those kind of things which is making this actually supposed to keep this girl financially healthy, is now slowly she's becoming financially unhealthy. Because I have very experiences where I had one young woman coming to me, of course, doing her post-graduation program, and also a scholar. She had got scholarship because she topped the fellowship exam, and she got a scholarship. And then she was getting a fellowship of some 30K something, right? But she was in a relationship, right? And they were very happy in the beginning. But slowly after some time, I think they started living together, right in Hyderabad. And this boy was living with her, and she was paying the rent. She was taking care of the home, and literally she was taking care of everything. But the bills were paid by this boyfriend of hers, this boy who was also a student, right? He was paying the bills of the rent. He was paying the bills of her fees. He was paying the bills for the grocery. He was paying everything. Why? Because the credit card, the debit card, the ATM card, her bank passbook, everything was with this boy. And one fine day, because the relationship was getting so toxic, as I told you, toxicity will take various, right? And she's a very good student. And fortunately, she reached my place where I counsel. And when I met her and over a period of time started talking to her, I realized that this was a toxic relationship. This person, one person was totally controlled. Especially this boy was controlling this girl. He had taken everything that is related to finances in his hand, and he was not letting go of her, right? And actually, he referred this girl to me for counseling. And later on, we realized that it is not her. He required counseling the most. And of course, that's a long story. We tried to link this boy to another therapist and try and find out what problem he had. And anyway, so it was on the road to recovery, because luckily this girl found a place where she could come. She found a therapist, and she also found ways and means to connect once again back to her friends, once again back to her family, and all this. So, so threats of self harm, physical violence. All this kind is very, very, sometimes toxicity takes such a form, especially now among today's youth. Right. Teenagers, I can understand because they are attracted to one another. Infatuation plays a great part. And because of the hormonal play in their bodies, all this is possibility. But when they come to certain extent, especially when they cross 25, 26, 30, I'm talking about the youth group. The toxicity takes various forms. Like, sometimes I find some girls, like I had one girl telling me that this boy has been checking her phone. He's been checking her emails, literally stalking her. He knows where she goes. He knows her time schedule. He knows what she does. Who she's related, from where she's coming, what she has, what she possesses. Every detail, not only about the family, but also the financial transactions she makes. Also about the kind of other relationships this girl is maintaining through the phone. So he's reading up all the messages. He's checking into all the group chats that she is part of it. And sometimes even linking people with that. So this is again a warning. When you find your boyfriend is checking your phones, absolutely no. He's checking your messages and he's doing your financial transaction. He knows your password and he's making Google Pay or is making banking transactions. It's a warning. And he knows your FB account. He's opening your FB friends and is checking with whom you're chatting, what you're chatting. He's literally invading your privacy. When this is happening, Instagram, Facebook, or anything, it is a warning, which means you are in a toxic relationship. It's time that you stop this. Because dating violence is also now getting very, very common. When they are dating, a lot of things, okay, they are happy with one another. In a healthy relationship, we help one another to grow. We help one another to progress. We help one another to move forward. We help one another reach our respective goals, right? But in a toxic relationship, only one person is progressing. The other person is not progressing. And in the context of gender-based violence, mostly women are the victims. You'll find the guys will move on, but the women will end up giving up their career, giving up their academic to look after the children. All the compromises, everything will be made by women. Okay, so when this is happening, a lot of this kind of is happening, and when they are, in the process or making a decision to get married, they must look into all these angles before they make that final decision of wanting to settle down. Okay, or sometimes even asking for sexual favors even before they are tying the knot. So that also can be very, if they are constantly harping or being very possessive that she cannot be talking to anybody else except him, right? So as I said before also, it is sometimes even taking away the laptop and erratic anger, like how Aparna mentioned, the kind of anger they show, right? Sometimes they can break. I had a counseling, I had a girl who came to me and told me that a boyfriend was so angry with her when they were talking that he literally broke the laptop. It was around 60,000 and above. Another time he broke a cell phone, which was almost a lakh, right? So with all this kind of thing, we were very disturbed. Another case of stalking. One girl came and told me that in the classroom, he'll ensure to make sure that he will sit directly opposite to her. So such a way that she becomes so conscious about her body, literally invading into her. And 2-3 times she found him, coming across near the toilet, coming across near the, almost like hitting one another. So stalking. So all these kind of things, when we notice, it is a toxic relationship. Yeah? So I think I have very clearly told you between 20 to 30, especially when they are moving into a career, settling down in academics, settling down in relationships, all these are possibilities. So what can we do? Already Aparna has given a lot of things on the slide. You can check the slide. But some simple things what I would like to tell is, first of all, not okay. If you're finding this person invading your privacy, if you're finding this person making financial transactions, and if you find this person cheating on you, lying to you, because most of the time a lot of dishonesty will happen, right? Lot of pretense will happen, as we spoke in the previous slide of faking, faking compliments and all these kind of things. So first and foremost, you need to identify. Once you identify, if my self-worth has gone down, I am not like before. I was so bubbly and enthusiastic and was goal-oriented. Today, I have no goals. I have no friends. I have no support system. I'm all alone. I am upset. I am sad, I am depressed, I'm anxious, I'm frightened, and I am feeling suicidal. Enough. That shows that you are in a toxic relationship. Beware. So, first and foremost, accept if you have all these signs, and you don't have to bear up with this. Okay, there is no reason for you to bear up with the abuse. That is number one. Number two is you don't have to blame yourself. Most of the time, girls come and tell me that they are no, they are at fault, that they are responsible for whatever has happened. They keep blaming. This boy has abused me. He has molested me. He tried to have sexual favor from me, and he tried to harm me. You know, and I am responsible for that. And I'm feeling so unhappy about it. I'm feeling so sad about it. I don't know why it should happen only to me. So they start self-blaming. So what I would encourage all our young girls: stop blaming yourself. You are not responsible for what has happened. Okay, you just be aware that you are in a toxic relationship, and you have all the power to come out of the relationship. So decide, right? Decide, and in your mind, that you will not respond to, like, and not get sucked into these kind of arguments. Because if you try to confront the person will try to justify. He will get argumentative. He will get into so many ways because he doesn't want to let go of you easily. So it's not going to be easy. If you have been in a relationship for 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years, you realize it is a toxic relationship, and now you want to come out of this relationship. The other person will be very smart. He'll alert himself, and he will not let you go easily. So do not confront. Just be very firm and clear that you will not take up this nonsense anymore. Enough is enough, right? And then you try as much as possible to exit the relationship. Most of the time, the girls will come and tell me, but I still love him, ma'am, no matter what he does. Okay, but for temporary, okay, for she's just thinking about few years, but what about lifelong? What will happen when children come in? All these kind of things they will not think. So when you refer them to a counselor or a therapist, the therapist will be able to help them and guide them. Yeah. So find a therapist and give yourself some time to heal and take support from your family and friends. I think that is what is all about what I wanted to talk. If there is any questions, you're most welcome to ask, and I'm there to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Angela, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was so eye-opening, and yeah, a lot of my friends and all the participants also could apply whatever the incidents that you have shared with us. And now, without delaying, moving on to Kaam4U Foundation Director Kiranmai, ma'am. Yes, please take it over. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So Rakesh, am I audible? First thing,
Yes.
visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have 15 minutes.
You have, yes. You have
Okay.
15 minutes. You can go till 6:25. Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you, Rakesh. So it was very informative session, both Aparna ma'am and Angela ma'am. I think you covered everything, most of the things. But yeah, I will try to cover the toxicity that a person who is in the age group of 30 and above. If you see the social interactions that a person who is in the age group of 30, what are the social interaction that he has? He has a social interaction with the family. He has maybe if he's a married person, then the interaction with the spouse. And if he's a working professional, then at a workplace. So he can encounter toxicity in any of these three, from any of these three group of people. So let me first divide. First thing is toxicity within the family, toxicity from the spouse, and toxicity at workplace. So when I say toxicity within the family, it could be toxicity from the siblings, like miscommunication or disagreement or sibling rivalry is very common in every family. I don't think there's any perfect family as say. But then the reasons for all these disagreements or communication gaps or sibling rivalry, there could be many factors. Like it could be some maybe financial factors, or it could be a stress at your workplace or at your study which you carry to your family, or it could be that you're upset with one of your friends and then you bring it back home. And I think family members are easy targets for us to offload all our tension and everything. These are normal tendencies of a family, a normal family. But then it becomes an issue when this is persistently happening for a long duration. I mean, the toxicity that you encounter from the siblings, it happens persistently for a long duration, then yes, it becomes an issue, right? And in case of, I mean, unlike other relations that we have, distancing ourselves from a toxic person is a very tough choice when it comes to someone who is from our family, because it's very difficult to let go. But then whatever the behaviors that Aparna ma'am told and Angela ma'am told about a toxic person, that even holds good for a toxic person who is within the family, like controlling or demeaning a person, or too much of control, or manipulating. All these behaviors are also they are good enough for a person who is within the family. So how do you deal with a person who's toxic within your family? As Aparna ma'am again told, be assertive, set your boundaries, that what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, and try and reduce the interaction that you have with that person. When I say reduce the interaction, not to lose the control, because definitely we don't want to let go of our family, right? But then whatever are the social interactions or social gatherings that you have, try and reduce that time with that person and give some space to yourself and to that person. And again, reiterating that you have to be very assertive. And if it becomes too difficult for you to handle, yes, see, seeking professional help is something which which can get you out of this issue. That was about toxicity within the family. Next is toxicity that you encounter from a spouse. Again, Angela ma'am has spoken at length about the different kinds of toxic behavior and how to handle. Only thing, without getting into too much of the details of that, I just want to emphasize on only one thing, that if you have children in your relation, then the decision of distancing yourself from a toxic husband or a toxic wife is very, very difficult. Definitely, it needs professional help, and it needs a mutual work to be done by both the husband and wife together. So I don't want to get into more details of that. But third aspect of toxicity at workplace is something which I want to talk about, because I, coming from a corporate industry for 20 years, I have few experiences which I thought I'll share it with you. So, and it's also very important, because whether we do a job because of our choice or because of our goals, we start working. I mean, this generation, we start working at the age of 25, and we work till the age of 60. We work 6 days a week, we work 12 hours a day. So it's a substantial amount of time that we spend at a workplace. So it's all the more important that we try to reduce if there's any toxicity that is present at our workplace. So what can be the different kind of toxicities that you face at a workplace? It could be a miscommunication, or no clear communication either from your managers, or it could be no clarity of your goal, or no clarity of your role, no growth in your career, or and it need not be that toxicity is always from the boss, but it can even be from your peers and your juniors. Or in some cases, it could even be maybe a sexual discrimination that happens at a workplace. So there can be different factors that will make your workplace very difficult for you to work. Again, one thing that I want to tell very clearly is tough working conditions or challenging working conditions is different from toxic working conditions. Like all of us, I think whoever are working, we are aware of Monday blues. We don't want to go to office. Saturday, Sunday, we relax. And then Monday is always that very difficult day for us to go back to work. But then as the week progresses, I think we somewhere gather our energy, gather our spirit, and then we get back to our work. Or it could be those durations where we have a very challenging timelines, strict goals, strict timelines, and then we stretch all through the night, try to submit our work and everything. But then at the end of all this duration, you at least have self-satisfaction or some skill that you would have acquired, or some output for which you would be very happy. In case of a toxic workplace, you don't see this the same. I mean, I think the Monday blues, if I have to say, you face this Monday blues all through the week, and you get drained. I mean, before you start your work, you feel very drained. You feel demotivated, there's no encouragement. So these are all the things that would add up to your toxic workplace. Not only the environment, I think even the job can be toxic. I mean, if you are doing something which you really don't like, then that also adds to the toxicity. In just to this context, I'm saying that how do you handle if there is a toxic workplace, then how do you handle it? Few of the things is something, I mean, if you like your job, if you like your work, but then the working conditions are toxic, how do you handle? If you are not liking your job, but then the working conditions are fine, how do you handle? So first thing, when I said if you like your job and then the working conditions are toxic with related to either the growth aspect or your communication and everything, how do you handle it? I think you have to stay positive, keep your work and home separate. Don't bring in whatever is your work pressure back to home and home pressure back to the work. Keep things separate. Try to take breaks in your work. When I say breaks, it either could be the normal breaks or maybe go on a holiday, rejuvenate yourself, try and find a hobby for yourself, and try and find something interesting other than, it should not be always work, work, work. You should have something that will add to your hobbies, or you should have an extra hobby for yourself, so that at least you will get that fun factor or a lively factor into your life. So that's one way of dealing with it. And in case you're not liking the job, this is not something which you like, I think you need to reskill yourself, upskill yourself, and try to find what is your passion. I just want to give you a small example of one of my friends who went through the same experience. My friend, from childhood, she was very much service oriented. She did a lot of service in a lot of NGOs, and she worked for the betterment of the society. For, as I said, because of financial needs, she got into a job, a corporate job, but then she never used to like the desk job that she is doing. Her heart was somewhere else, but then she was only physically here. But then she had to sustain herself. And this pressure of not liking the job, she forcing herself every day to the work, it also took a toll on her health as well as her performance in the company. So she had to take a pause, think about herself, and see what are the changes that I have to do. So she upskilled herself, because see, service industry is something she's very much attached to. So she upskilled herself, she got herself trained, she became a CSR manager, got an opportunity as a CSR manager. I think now she's doing a job which she likes, doing a job which gives her satisfaction, doing a job which is correct to us as per her skill, and doing a job which gives her the money. It might not be the same case for everyone, but I'm just telling that if you're someone who's not liking your job, then only way out is to upskill yourself and try to find a job which you really like. This is, I just want to quote Japanese philosophy, Ikigai. Ikigai has 4 factors in it. As I said, you have to do something which you like, love. You have to do something which you are best in. You have to do something which helps the society, and you have to do something which gives you, which is financially viable. So that small quadrant which covers all these 4 factors is your Ikigai. So my friend got her Ikigai. So that's few things that we can handle our workplace toxicity. So quickly, because I was running out of time, so I just touched upon few things and concentrated more on the workplace. I think that's it from my side. If anyone has anything to add, Rakesh.
Well, yes, ma'am, you have actually touched every part of what an adult goes in their daily life. And thank you so much. And I thank each one of the panelists, whoever has taken time for for today's session, going against the violence against gender-based, gender-based. And thank you so much. And I also thank every participant and every viewer on their each name for participating in this and taking part. And thank you for enlightening us. Yes, with this note, I would like to, say goodbye to everybody, and I request all the participants and viewers to tune up for the upcoming session, which is going to be a guided meditation. And yeah, we call it as Mohe Rangre. And yes, thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rakesh.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving this opportunity.
All the best for your following sessions. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Angela ma'am and Aparna ma'am. It's an honor to
Thank you
share
so
the
much.
tour with you.